Hi, my name is Mr. Kaiwan. I'll be talking about the modern music. We have two subjects. We'll be talking about the staff, and we'll be talking about the lines and the spaces of the notes and what they call it. First, we talked about the alphabet of music and what's the subject and why they are related to the do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, si. Today, I'm gonna ask you after I'll talk about the staff. I'll tell you what's the staff, and I want to see how much you're going to understand. Okay? So first, in music, you see in Tom and Jerry, I'm sure everybody saw the lines and the notes and how does it moves and how can somebody reads that. So the first thing is we have in music, generally, we have 5 lines and 4 spaces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we have 4 spaces. 1, 2, 3, 4. This is all called the staff. If you want to find this online or anywhere, you have to write the staff. It's called the staff. You don't say 5 lines and 4 spaces. It's called the staff. If you forget or you forgot, you just do this. You have 5 fingers and 4 spaces. I was looking at you and she answered. The second thing we have, before we go to the names of the lines, in music you all saw that, right? You saw that? Do you know what it's called? No idea. Just give me a clue. What they call it. Doesn't have to be in English. You forgot. It's called the key of G, or it's called the treble clef. If you forgot, just remember that he's in trouble. Do you know why he's in trouble? In music, we have 3 keys. Divided on the instrument. We have a lot of instruments. We start from the guitar, we end up with the violin, we have drums, we have saz, we have contrabass, we have piano. Each instrument has a key. In music, we have 3 keys. We have this one, and we have this one. The first called treble clef, which is written like that. This is treble clef, and you have a bass clef, and you have the middle clef. Each instrument, get divided to these. This one, you can say 20% of the instrument uses this key. And 50% of the instrument uses that, and 90% of most of the instruments, they want this key. If we start with the guitar, violin, trumpet, let's say saz, piano, use 2 instruments. Today what we're going to learn is 1 key, which is the treble clef. I want you to remember that, this one. We also call it sol. Sol. It's called sol. Sol, it's do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, si, do. First I talked about it, you were not here. in my first show. We say what's the relationship between the ABCD and the alphabet of music. So is G. Okay? We're not gonna go back there, but I just want you to remember this is the treble clef. What's this? What's this? What's this? Treble clef. Why we call it treble clef? No. Why we call it the treble? Yes. Why we call it the treble clef? Told you, we call it treble clef because he's in trouble. Most of the instruments want him. He's wanted. Just like we know there's a sign, it's called wanted, that much money. But the treble clef wanted by the instrument because 90% the instrument wants the treble clef. Okay? So now I'm gonna use the treble clef on the staff. Remember, how many lines and spaces do we have? 4 what? Exactly. So we have 5 lines and 4 spaces. And we have a key. What was the name of the key? Treble clef. What was the name of the clef? What was the name of the clef? What? Treble clef. The treble clef starts from the second line and it goes up and comes down and goes up. Do you ever saw this picture? This? Anywhere? You? Did you see it? You? You? See, these are the lines and this is the key, the music key. I'm going to show you something now. Probably you saw it in the books or somewhere. When we put the treble clef, the lines and the spaces will have names. In the beginning, it didn't have names. It was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, right? We had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There was no name. And then the spaces were 1, 2, 3, 4. But when we put the treble clef, we're gonna call them by names now. Each line and each spaces will have a name. So the first line, we'll call it E. The second line, we'll call it G. The third line, we'll call it B. The fourth line, we'll call it D. And the fifth line, we'll call it F. To make it easier, which what I use to make everybody memorize, I go every good boy does fine. Did I forget anything? Are you sure? Did I forget anything? Huh? Do you memorize this? This is the lines. I want you to memorize that. If you forgot, just do that to your hands and say, every good boy does fine. What's the name of the third line? Good job. You don't tell me boy. It's called B. I'm just giving you this so you can memorize. See, this is exactly just like the do, re, and fa, sol, la, si. Anybody knows what the do, re, and fa, sol, la, si? Who did study music? None of you? Okay, that's why you're here, because none of you studied music. And I want to see how much you're going to understand this. So E, G, B, D, F. Every good boy does fine. If I forgot E, G, B, D, F. What's the name of the last line? No, last line. Last line alone. Yes. This is the last line. Yes, which is F. What's the name of the second line? G. If I erase this, would you still remember? What's the name of the first line? E. Why? You said E. I'm telling you why. Convince me. We're having a conversation, I'm telling you. You're telling me the chair is brown. I say why? I just gave you the sentence. Yeah? Yeah? Exactly. Because it's E every, that's why we call it E. What's the name of the fourth line? No, actually I didn't ask her. Fourth line. Why? Yes. So it goes, every good boy does fine. So would you remember that? Shall we go to the spaces? Huh? I can't hear you. Okay, now we have the spaces. The spaces are, let's see how much you can figure out that. Smart. Face. So, easy. Face. If I forgot, first is F, second is A, third is C, and fourth is C. So both of them together, the lines we have every good boy does fine, and the spaces are face. Now, if somebody asks you what's the name of the lines on the spaces, would you answer them? Would you answer them? What would you say? What's the name of the lines? It starts from bottom to up. It's always bottom to up. First, if you just forget the sentence, what's the name of the first line? E. G. B. F. That's it. And the spaces? Face, which is the second line will, the second space will be A. Any questions? Any questions? So our subject was the staff and the name of the lines on the spaces, and also the keys. So what they learned today, that first we talked about the alphabet of music, which starts from A to A, and the second one, how to use the alphabet to the lines on them and the spaces. Because if you want to play an instrument, you have to know how to read this. Because everywhere you go, you want to play an instrument and you don't know how to read it. You always go, first thing you have to memorize the lines and the spaces, because next class we'll be talking about the notes, which is these notes. I don't know if you ever saw it. You saw it, right? By knowing the lines on the spaces, you'll understand what you're going to play. Because what is this? What space is this? C. So now I know what to play. I'm going to play C. But this subject will be for our next show. So I hope you got benefit from it, and also you never had a class, but you're amazing. I'm gonna play something for you on the guitar, and I'll show you. Anybody knows how to play the guitar? No? Okay. See, now I can show you what are they, but I can play this one and the second one. See, the space I'm using is C. On the guitar, the C is usually here. See, right now I know that after you study the instrument, reading notes will be really easy, because as you see here, these are the notes. I'm not gonna be there. I'm probably gonna give you, when I teach you music, I'll teach you how to read these lines on the spaces, and I'll put a paper on top, in front of you, like that, and I will ask you to play this one for me. So I will tell you, play this one, and you're going to play. This is how it goes. But this is step by step. But first, you learn the alphabet, and then you learn the lines and the spaces. And then we go to play the positions on the guitar. And then you're gonna play anything you want to, either chords or melody. Do you remember me like I remember you? Do you spend your life going back in your mind to the time? 'Cause I walk the streets alone. I ain't been on my own. Everyone can see that I really felt I'm going through hell. Think about you, somebody else. Somebody wants you, somebody needs you, somebody dreams about you every single night. Somebody can't breathe without you, it's so late. Somebody hopes one day you could see. Somebody, it's me. So this is how you play.